Bodyweight Training 101. We're gonna talk about how to get started with bodyweight training, how it's for everybody, the benefits of it, but also the dangers and the pitfalls and how to mitigate that. So Brady, as a trainer, how do you like to incorporate bodyweight training in with your clients?
Yeah, so for me, I train most of my clients in like a traditional gym, right? We have access to everything, but I still use bodyweight training mostly for a warm-up, right? To making sure they're mobile and they're ready to go under load. And then also for either a cool down or like a finisher type deal where we're doing burpees or running man or something that's going to be more of like a burnout set. So for me, I use it before and after my sessions, and then the bulk is the weightlifting in the middle. But how about you?
Well, bodyweight training, I think, can be great for using as a warm-up, but also like for all of you at home that maybe don't want to go into the gym or maybe feel intimidated, there's so many options, or you're just a beginner that is a little self-conscious, you can do bodyweight training and get a great workout without any equipment right at home. Whether you're beginner or advanced, you can use bodyweight training in a way that's gonna give you an incredible workout.
For sure, yeah, and I talk to a lot of my clients about like reducing the barriers to whatever it is, to fitness, right? So the excuse of, I don't have the equipment, or I don't have a gym membership near me, or like you said, like I'm intimidated to go into the gym, I don't know what to do. Like you can do this in your living room, in the comfort of your house, with just yourself, right? You don't need to buy any fancy equipment, bands, kettlebells, anything. You can literally just use your body and use it to get in the best shape of your life, which is crazy, yeah.
I think one of the biggest problems that I see when people are getting into bodyweight training is, unlike with weights where you can make it harder just by simply increasing the weight, with bodyweight training, a lot of people think that the only way to make it harder is to just do more reps,
right,
to do more push-ups, to just keep on going, get those numbers up. And ultimately, just increasing your volume will create damage in your joints, right? You'll have that elbow pain, you'll have that shoulder pain, and then you'll be sidelined and won't train for a while.
Right.
So I want to talk a little bit about how to make bodyweight training harder and to actually get more out of it instead of just focusing on, oh, I can do more push-ups. And in my opinion, the best place to start when you're trying to make it harder without increasing the number is just to modify the tempo, modify the speed.
Yeah.
So instead of having to do 50 push-ups before you're feeling it, you can do 10, really get more of the muscular engagement activity that you want while saving your joints.
For sure, yeah. So tempo, like Zach brought it up, is the speed that you're moving at, right? So the traditional tempo would be maybe a 2-1-1 or a 3-1-1, which is seconds. So we're like 3 seconds, so 3, 2, 1 on the way down, a pause, and then a 1 second back up, right? So modifying that is a great way to add challenge, add variety, and make it hard. So we were kind of talking earlier, but I have a lot of general population clients, and I would say, like I said, they have access to a regular gym, they're bench pressing, they're doing the stuff, and most of them probably couldn't do 10 regular push-ups with proper tempo like you're talking about. They could bust out 10 probably, but a proper push-up with you're talking about the 4 or 5 second eccentric, and then maybe even like an explosive concentric, probably couldn't do 10, which is wild to think about. Like they're bench pressing and they can't do 10 real push-ups, which is great. Just shows how hard a push-up is, right? Push-ups are hard.
Push-ups are hard. And one of the beauty of actually modifying how slow you go down is the lowering part, the eccentric part, is actually where the muscle damage happens.
Right, yeah.
And where the muscle damage happens is where the growth will happen. So simply by slowing it down, and then what I like to do is actually speed up the lifting, the concentric, get that explosive, get those fast twitch muscle fibers going. That's how you can really get the muscles working more, saving the joints. And as you said, for those people who maybe can't do 10 push-ups like that, one of the beauties of bodyweight training is that it can be scalable for anyone.
Yeah.
So they can still do that same tempo we talked about, but then just do it from their knees.
Yep. Yeah, drop to your knees, or like we said, you're doing it at home, put your hands on the wall even, or on your kitchen table. Just so many ways to regress, progress the same movement. We were talking a lot about push-ups, but even a squat, right? You can do it to a bench or to your chair, or you can jump and explode out of that squat to make it harder. So many ways to make it easier or harder. It's great.
So big strength is the versatility, because also, you know, there are many different aspects of fitness. There's mobility, stability, strength, power, athleticism. And with bodyweight training, you can hit all of those with just a different intention. right? You can do mobility, you can work on your flexibility, you can work on your strength. It's possible to build strength with just body weight training, as we talked about, changing the tempo, changing the explosiveness. You can work on your athleticism. You can also work in all planes of motion, because as you know, the body moves three-dimensionally in space.
Right.
With, let's say, a lunge, for instance, because I really like the lunge, how functional it is. It's basically training your body to walk better. Like, you can change the way you do it, so you can hit from the side, you can do it from the front, you can do a rotational lunge, so your body's moving way more naturally the way it's meant to. Whereas in the weight room, I see a lot of people, most of the time, they're just training in the sagittal plane, front to back. I mean, obviously with weights, you can and you should be training in all planes of motion, but with body weight training, it kind of forces you to be a little creative and forces you to change things up and add spice and variety. So it is possible to really get a good workout and train all aspects of fitness just with your own body weight.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we skipped the most important part. So like when you're starting anything, even if your goal is to eventually squat 315, bench 225, your form needs to come from a body weight, from more of a movement pattern, right? So in my opinion, body weight is a great way to perfect that movement pattern and make sure that you're getting the most out of that movement pattern first before you even load it, right? So that's another great way, at least in my opinion, that you could use body weight exercises to maybe expose some of those leaks that you might have in a shoulder joint or something before you load. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just hit it on the head with one aspect too, with how important form is. And unfortunately in body weight training, it's often overlooked.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just, you know, if let's say they're doing a shoulder press, or let's say they're doing a kettlebell swing or squat, with weight, you're thinking about form because you know you can get injured.
Yeah.
With body weight training, that injury is less likely to happen right then and there. It's more likely to happen from repetitive and long term. So you're not thinking about form, you're just like, oh, push-ups, 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 and form kind of goes out the window.
Yeah,
where
you wake up the next day and like,
yeah, and then your shoulder's hurting and it's like, oh, I wonder why, because you didn't really focus on form. So, I mean, form in all exercise, but especially body weight training, because if your form sucks when you're body weight training, your form's gonna suck even worse when you add weight.
Yeah.
So
yeah, not only, I mean, safety-wise, but then also form is important to get the most out of it, right? Maximize the efficiency, right? So we talked a little bit about push-ups already and how the tempo can change it, but tempo can obviously, or the form can also change to make it harder, make sure you're getting the most out of it, right? So you'd never be like, oh, how many times can I bench the bar? But for some reason, we're like, oh, how many push-ups can you do? But you're maximizing that form, making sure your elbows stay in tight, whatever. I guess we're honing in on push-ups a lot, but to make sure that that chest is getting the most activation, or if you're changing the angle, get the triceps, or changing the angle, get the shoulders. So form can be modified too.
yeah, and changing angles is a great way to add that variety and that versatility to hit different body parts. I mean, we'll hit push-up again. Push-up is just, I think, the most basic.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Everyone knows about a push-up.
You had to do them in high school.
Yeah.
You hate them, but yeah.
So like you could elevate your feet and that changes the way that you're gonna feel it, makes it a little harder.
Yeah.
You can elevate your hands and that changes it, maybe makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
You know, with lunges, you could do a regular lunge, you could put your foot on top of the back foot on top of something, make it more of a split squat or a Bulgarian split squat. So you can change angles to add versatility. You can change the tempo to make it harder or easier. You can add explosiveness to add that fast twitch muscle fibers. So bodyweight training in a nutshell is like a smorgasbord of fitness where you can just work on anything you want and change things up when you have the right intention.
Right, and I think people think about it as like a starting point versus like just staying there. There's so many people that are just doing calisthenics and they have great looking bodies. They're like shredded because they can control their body, right? I think people just lose this aspect of like controlling my body. Like we work with it every day, but people just lose the ability to move properly, which is crazy. Yeah.
So bodyweight training, for those of you at home, is a great place to get started, but also if you're not just getting started, it's a great place to go back to with the right intention, with the right changing of the variables like tempo. You can really get great workouts from the comfort of your own home or anywhere at all with simple bodyweight training. So hope this helps.